Forward on this one. Doxa picking up the one. Trickster goes down to the backside to Shochi. Shochi barely avoiding that W coming out of Lynx, and now the chase is on. It's Doxa versus Shochi, and what? What a bubble by Doxa! The paddle star's not gonna come through to follow it up.
And the Pantheon ultimate will arrive eventually.
Here we go. Attempt against. Here comes the realm over. It gets stolen away. Honori takes it. He takes the life of Vex as well. He will take the lives of Winthrop. Much more scrappy skirmishy fight going for Perry. Perry's able to back up in time as the pressing guard goes up. Now Perry goes into the face of City Witty. As Grade picks up another one. It's going to be a double kill. He's looking for more though. Goes after Faisal. Faisal hops on, is able to complete the jump, but Faisal is still alive. Faisal's going after LeGrade, but Existence has done the job. Will LeGrade survive? Answer's gonna be no. Faisal!
Use those long range. It won't go down just yet. Cycle. Okay, he dash forward. Dark Passage.
Oh, huge! Charm
Detention!
look at the snipe from detention! Scoop just stays alive. As actually, we've seen a flank with the charm!
Three-man charm, but it doesn't do any damage. It doesn't do any damage. They're not here yet, but it has bought time. It's bought time, and they're locked up. Griffin has to run away. The reposition comes through, but there's a reset for Scoop.
Scoop!
Can he carry the fight? Scoop's got 2. Jeremy's in trouble. It's gonna be 3. It's gonna be 4. Scoop may have given no team away. Back into the game.
Committing to the end. Anime Girl up in 20 seconds. That is the mid lane inhibitor turret dead. Ezreal ultimate used into the base, Tesserux.
Oh, here we go. Call
the minions!
Goes off to going after Shochi, able to get the knockback on Shochi. Shochi falls before getting the shockwave off, but the minions are taking down the base. The minions are doing work. Redbird have to do work faster. They're going after the Nexus towers, but the Nexus towers are healthy. Trevor doing
Anime Girl's doing it!
Right after the Nexus tower number 1. It will fall. There's Anime Girl. He's
Anime
teleporting
Girl!
into the base. He is going for the back door. Structures are getting destroyed.
No way!
Some way! Immortals! AoE! Backdoor Redbird!
Welcome everyone to the Summer Proving Ground Circuit Qualifier number 1 OQs. My name is Reed and Wright. We're here at the Castor Cabana on the beach, and notably no seagulls here, probably scared off by the man to my left. Hawk, it's an honor to be here with you.
Oh yeah, you know, birds of prey, notoriously terrifying to seagulls, but we're so excited to be here bringing you the first round of the Open Qualifier here on the Unified live stream. And to explain the format just a little bit for you guys, we do have Desirux with a bit of a video for you.
Welcome to the Summer Proving Ground Circuit Qualifier number 1, presented by Unified. 32 teams will compete in a 5-round Swiss Open Qualifier to decide who will advance to the 16-team group stage. The Swiss format matches teams with the same record against each other as the rounds progress. This means in round 2, the 1-0 teams will play each other, while the 0-1 teams will do battle, and so on. The 16 teams to reach 3 wins by the end of round 5 will move on to the group stage, where they will be seeded based on their results in the Swiss. Each group will play in a best-of-3 double elimination bracket to decide who will advance to the playoff stage. The playoffs will be single elimination best-of-3 matches up until the grand final best-of-5 series. Teams will earn points based on their overall performance. Here's how the numbers break down. The top 10 amateur teams across both of the Proving Ground Circuit qualifiers will qualify for the Proving Grounds. The Open Qualifiers begins May 23rd. You can check out those games on the Unified Twitch channels, and groups begin May 30th. Which of these aspiring champions will rise to the top in the summer of 2022? Come see for yourself.
Thank you, Deserex. Excellent explanation of the format. And as they said, we have 32 teams in this Swiss qualifier, all competing for 16 spots. And here they are.
Yeah, 32 teams. So many amazing lineups here for us. Starting all the way at the top, 100 Thieves next, and all the way down to DK Crew at number 32. All of them will be vying for those 16 coveted main stage, group stage spots. And over just these next 5 games, they've got that opportunity to prove themselves to make it to that coveted 3-2 record. Of course, starting off our matches for the day, we do have 16 matches all the way through again. And Reed, I'm just so excited to get into it.
Yeah, ton of matchups here. And we have 2 on the Unified streams that you're watching right now. Right here where you currently are, Hawk and I will be covering the matchup between CLG Faith and Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors. Whereas on Unified 2, Camcom and Regdor will have 100 Next and DK Crew.
Yeah, and man, CLG Faith up against Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors. What a matchup we have for you guys today. It's the number 9 seed up against the 24. And Reed, I just cannot wait to explore these teams. CLG making their first foray into the amateur scene in years since CLG Black. And Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors, they are a team that has been around a while in the amateur scene, and it's their first time now being in the Proving Ground Circuit qualifiers. Yeah,
almost every team coming in with some changes here or there. The Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors are no exception to that as well. Drew Dozer being a big anchor in that mid lane and somebody we're going to be looking at pretty heavily, but it's the rest of the members around him that are going to facilitate this team into victory. Goo, a huge carry for the team. Izo playing a more supportive role, and Sean and Little Chimp looking to prove their worth.
Yeah, but don't forget the team on the other side, of course. It is the LCS-affiliated org, CLG Faith. We got Draco, Bako, Town, Aaron, and Trevor Roy facing off against them. And as you already mentioned, Reed, spotlighting in this mid lane. I had the absolute pleasure of sitting down with Myra on the reveal show on Saturday. Shout out Myra if you are watching for such a great interview. And she said that Town is the player to watch on this roster. You know, we know how good Aaron can be. We know how good Trevor Roy can be. Yeah. But Town is here to play and is one of the most hyped mid lanes talents coming into this tournament. But as you rightfully mentioned, up against Drew Dozer, a staple of the amateur and collegiate mid lane scene.
Yeah, I brought the floaties just to make sure I didn't drown in all of this talent. I know that seems cheesy, but these are some of the best that NA has to offer just coming into the scene. Town, you mentioned that huge talent has not been anywhere in the amateur scene. So we're really looking towards him as, you know, who is this guy? What is he capable of? And I mean, for a first round matchup, I couldn't be happier with the result.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Town played in one Tier 2 Proving Grounds tournament back in 2021 in the spring for Redefy Esports, and that was it, and did not go very far. But now he's back on CLG Faith, and I mean, this guy, known for his assassin play, very carry-oriented, is Irelia in particular, a champion that we are really looking at, and also very prolific Lucian player, something that has been nearly permabanned at the midseason invitational against mainly 80 carries, but potentially could be flexed amongst him and Aaron should that pick fall through. Of course, CLG, they will be on the blue side for the draft this time around, meaning that they will have access to that first pick.
And on the other side of the match, Super Sunshine for Basket Warriors is the last time I'm going to say the full name, I promise. Little Chimp and Sean Twitch God, both, if you looked at their match histories, pretty one-trick heavy, but those players do not shy away from other champions. After talking with their coach Sleepy, they mentioned that both of these players relish the opportunity to prove their worth on obviously something that isn't quite known for them. So I wouldn't be surprised looking at the draft to see something that isn't, you know, that Senna for Little Chimp that they laud themselves as one of the best in the world, or Twitch for Sean Twitch God. So really excited to see some of the creativity after a break.
Reed just a little bit there, but I think I was getting at what he was saying in that, you know, these one tricks, this Twitch, this Senna, they are obviously these players' best champions, and I would not expect to see them fall through in the draft. I mean, I think CLG is just going to ban them out on blue side. You have the luxury of doing that, of target banning out more so on blue side. But as you rightfully said, you spoke, of course, with their coach Sleepy, and he was saying that they are not just one tricks. Yeah, their best champions may be Twitch and Senna, but they will absolutely be able to play whatever is demanded of them.
Yeah, and with Super Sunshine on the red side, some of those priority bans are going to have to happen. We talked about in some of the prep, Talia being a big focus given the new rework. Very powerful champion that everybody and their mother has picked up if she, still has her account. But also Lucian, if we're looking at some of the MSI results, almost if not 100% pick ban presence in MSI. So red side a little bit hindered in that fact, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of teams look for the blue side if they win the toss.
Absolutely. But it's not to say that red side doesn't have merit, because I will say, Talia, Lucian, two champions that have kind of come out to be maybe a little OP in the current meta, or at least very strong. But you can never understate the luxury of the red side counter pick, which Super Sunshine will have access to, particularly maybe looking towards Izo on the top side. Yeah. Very much a meatball type of player, but up against a relative newcomer in Draco, that could be a point where they might want to attack in the draft. But as far as bans go, I agree. I think Talia probably going to be perma-banned on red side. I would expect Lucian likely to be banned out as well, especially considering Town's proficiency on the pick. And then maybe something of the likes of Lee Sin, taking that away from Baco, absolutely his signature champion as well. Yeah, and for teams like these, Super Sunshine being that jungle focus with Drew Dozer acting as that facilitator, that duo being the big linchpin for the team, going up against a player of renown like Town on the other side at CLG Faith, there's a lot to be asked, right? But if Goo can get ahead early, if they can do something great and play their game, as Sleepy said, then they've got the systems, they've got the foundation set to take down anybody in this field. Yeah, and I think so much of it will come down to, can you get that advantageous mid-jungle 2v2? Of course, I mentioned Lee Sin for Baco. Absolutely, Baco signature champion, I think most would agree. But Baco, no stranger to any early game junglers. This guy likes to get active in the early game and throw down with you at every opportunity. So I'm expecting a lot of explosive action, especially around the carry mid laner that we've been building up so much. The talk of the town, if you will, Town himself. But of course, it's not just about the mid jungle for these teams. As you mentioned, Drew Dozer, a little bit more of a facilitator, a little bit more of a leader for Super Sunshine. So where does that carry potential come through? Goo is one, and then also looking down at Sean, Twitch God. If he's able to get the Twitch, I'm sure he'll pop off, but assuming he doesn't, we'll see what else he has up his sleeve. But up against a very prolific 2v2, and in Aaron and Trevor Roy, potentially, I think many would agree, even a top 5 bot lane in this open qualifier, they will have their work cut out for them. A strong side, to be sure. Trevor's been around the scene for quite a while, is super comfortable on this team, which was mentioned, and so much praise coming from the community, honestly, for this bottom lane. Aaron getting a lot of praise. I was reading something this morning with my coffee, just taking in some of the media that's generated, and Aaron getting a lot of hype there as well. Love the storylines coming through. I'm really excited, but we have draft set up. We are ready to jump in just a moment. Hawk, I cannot state, this is like, it's surreal what I'm going through right now. It's exciting. It's Proving Ground. Summer has started. Finals are done. We're taking a load off here on the beach, and we're taking you guys through it as we are underway finally in the draft, long awaited. And as mentioned before, Talia, Lucian, and Lee Sin, definitely what I'm expecting to be banned on the red side. We'll see if Super Sunshine wants to mix it up. Meanwhile, on the blue side, looking at the Senna and the Twitch, targeting the bottom lane of Super Sunshine. Yep. And at that point, you can see the first 2 bans and react there. Ornn being the one that they are looking at, even though I would consider that Draco is a pretty great Gwen player
maybe not expecting that to fall through the draft themselves, and so they just want to get rid of the Ornn.
Yeah, really interesting actually seeing the Ornn be banned out. Draco also very proficient in Fiora, has busted it out many times in competitive as well. UPL most recently, playing the Fiora against Gnar and absolutely smashing it a few months ago. So definitely surprised to see that one gone. And Super Sunshine, actually, they're going to respect the Fiora and not let Draco get his hands on that, potentially beating down some of Izo's tanks.
And this is, Sleepy talked about Izo being the shield of this Super Sunshine team. Somebody who could really soak so much of that pressure and be more useful than your top laner in those situations. And if they're trying to pinch some of those champions that can soak some of that pressure, then I understand where the draft is going then. But, I mean, it's so soon.
Yeah, and unsurprisingly, Senna was the removal. But I will say, I do think that targeting Draco in draft could be a viable strategy as well. You know, we've been talking about Town so much, and that's because we've heard so much about how good this player can be. But in general, the top side of the map here for CLG is very inexperienced. Draco has not played since OQ2, unfortunately not making the main stage in the spring. Baco was a part of Supernova. I believe it was his first split as well. And then Town, of course, we've been talking about how new he is. So if you're maybe able to attack the top side of the map, able to attack some of this inexperience away from the super experienced Trevor Roy, that could be a viable strategy. As, again, another top lane ban comes down. They are setting up Izo in this draft.
I love it. I think it's great. And now the Twitch as well. So kudos to us, honestly. I'll pat my back. Oh, God, I can't. These are a little tight. Who would have thought adults know how to
T-Rex
swim
arms now.
Yeah. But yeah, Twitch Senna and the Ornn being the pair. Do we get 3 top lane bans coming at Draco here?
That would be really interesting, and I wonder if Super Sunshine is actually calling the bluff a little bit on Taliyah. You know, I've been talking about how good this pick is, and this is purely based on solo queue. And of course, solo queue does not always transfer to competitive success. So it is going to be the Lucian ban away from both Aaron and Town. So Taliyah is up. We'll see if CLG picks this one up. Again, we don't actually know how good this champion is in competitive. She has not been reworked yet in the MSI meta. And it's not in Town's solo queue history. Of course, it has been banned quite a bit. And Wukong, another champion that we haven't really talked about, very high priority. It's a flex between top and jungle.
Yeah, and that's what you get whenever you feel like you have to ban some of the lower priority champions. We're going to have a couple really stacked teams on paper, it feels like. Wukong's still up, Taliyah's still up. You've got the likes of every AD carry outside of Twitch, obviously, still available. So the options feel endless right now. And with the junglers and the AD carries coming probably early in this draft, we're not going to know much until... Okay, I lied.
Yeah. Goo already throwing it down the gauntlet saying, I'm going to outfarm you and try to win in the late game. And you know what? I respect this. Game number 1, bust it out and try to put on your carry pants. Sleepy was saying that Goo was one of the 2 main swords of this team, if you will. If Izo's the shield, Goo is the sword. And the Karthus coming out already. You know, I was a little surprised at how much target banning was going through from Super Sunshine in the first round. But if they want to blind pick top lane here, something safe and defensive, maybe a Volibear, something that Izo's known for example, or any sort of beefy frontliner, that will allow them the luxury of then to ban out some mid laners and then get a safe counter pick or maybe an aggressive counter pick for Drudozer on round 5. So signals to me that Super Sunshine, they want to pick their top laner on 3, but the Karma being locked in, lots of synergy with the Karthus can speed it up, and also against the Wukong, keep your team alive.
And a flex pick, surely. Yes, Karma mid isn't quite as popular, and although Drudozer is that facilitator kind of mid laner, with a Karthus on your team, being the lone AP source feels really, really good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Drudozer pick up some AD carry in the mid lane and then ban out maybe some of those counters at the ban 4 and 5 for the red side.
Oh, the Taliyah hover. Hyper play with my heartstrings, but unfortunately it's not locked in. But definitely a champion that I'm surprised to not see come out, but I agree with you. To your point, you don't need an AP mid laner here if you are Super Sunshine. You already have the Karthus, so a double AD carry composition could give you so incredibly much damage potential. Imagine 2 ADCs, mid and bot, Karthus and jungle, a tank top with a Karma. That is a formidable team fight composition that can come through. And Ezreal Karma, it is a staple of competitive. It has been the entire year. This is a very strong 2v2.
almost guaranteed now that Karma is in the bot lane, and we're going to have the mid and top be the focus at R4, R5. But with the bot lane and jungles set up here on both sides, it's mid and top that are going to soak even more bans here. Draco and Iso are going to be digging deep.
It will be, and I would imagine it's almost certainly going to be more top lane bans from Super Sunshine. Again, I'm expecting a top lane blind pick, but no, it is Ari removed, so maybe they're trying to deny a safe blind pick from Town. Yeah. Ari, of course, has had the highest presence of any champion at MSI outside of the Lucian, has been almost 100% pick ban. Just a very strong laner. It does a lot of things really well. It pushes well, it skirmishes well, it team fights pretty well, it has pick potential. It's not amazing at anything. I like to say it's like the Renekton of the mid lane, where it sort of does a lot of things well, nothing great, but a lot of times that's just what you need, especially when you've got an Aaron on his signature Jinx, a pick we haven't really talked about. The carry potential is here for CLG already, so it's not like Town needs a crazy hyper carry to unlock the damage potential of this composition.
Couldn't have asked for a better segue into what I was thinking as well. Just something to help set up this Wukong and Jinx. You already have enough gold hungry members on the team at that point. Those two will be just fine soaking in a lot of the golden XP. So a mid laner that might be, you know, a little less hungry could work extremely well here. I'm not saying go necessarily for like a Galio or, you know, maybe an Ornn mid lane or something like that, but if they do draft anything aggressive or needy in the mid lane, then I mean top is going to be a beefcake for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, remember, the Wukong does still have flex potential, and I mentioned his flex potential with top and jungle, but it could also go mid. We were talking about the potential of a physical damage mid here for Drew Dozer, as Tristana is the lock-in. That is a Tristana mid coming out. Drew Dozer has thrown down the gauntlet, and again, as I was about to say, if an 80 mid comes out, Wukong can play mid lane, so we'll see what CLG rounds out their composition with here. I'm not expecting it to be Wukong mid into the Tristana, but just something to keep in mind, as Talia again is the hover. They're baiting me.
Well, I don't think it's that bad here either. The Syndra hover now maybe making a little more sense.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, this is Vlad. Okay, big pick, one of Town's favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. Town has played quite a bit of Vladimir in solo queue, and it's a champion that, if you're comfortable in the lane, can absolutely crush team fights, especially up against the likes of Karma. You know, we were talking about how Jinx and Wukong already have enough damage where you don't need something to unlock the damage potential of this comp, but against the Karma, that's so much artificial tanking is tacked on, and if you need something to punch through that in AoE, Vladimir is the answer. Graves as well, still a flex. Wukong and Graves can flex either way, top jungle. And what a composition CLG has locked in. 4 carries with a Rakan to find the hard engage.
I'm telling you, these team fights are going to be explosive. Iso locking in the Malphite to counter a little bit. This should be fine against the Graves in the Wukong top side. Loves the Warden's Mail rush there. But, I mean, is there enough gold on the map to supply CLG? I mean, there isn't a nest egg in the world, I think, that could do that.
You gotta get ahead, is what I'm gonna say, because if this game goes too late, you don't have an answer for Karthus. Karthus will hit a point where he kind of just deletes this team. There is not really any frontline for CLG at all. This is full-on skirmish comp, but man, Reed, I just gotta say, we were spotlighting this mid matchup, and the Vladimir Tristana lane, I gotta be honest, I expected this from Town. I did not expect the Tristana from Drew Dozer.
Yeah, not a lane that I think we're too used to seeing, that's for sure, but the go buttons on both teams here, with the Wukong as well as the Malphite, those feel very, I mean, they're obviously extremely quick, but it's about the follow-up, it's about the lead in for this. Iso and Baeko being those trigger fingers, but if Drew Dozer and Town are in the mix and they're ahead for one team or the other, that might be the difference. But these late games, I mean, do you have a winner between these two?
I think if we're going ultra late game, it's got to be Super Sunshine. They've got the Karthus, they've got the Karma, they've got a Malphite that's going to be really hard to kill, because Vladimir is not going to want to hit Malphite. He wants to dive backline. So if I'm looking late game team fights, Super Sunshine takes the edge. And, you know, looking at like MSI, the other competitive sort of sphere that's happening right now, it has been teamfight that has been the name of the game.
Yeah.
But what I will say
Yeah.
is CLG has an extremely strong mid-game skirmish composition. Looking at this mid-jungle 2v2, I talked about Bako is a crazy player. He will look to fight, and Tristana Karthus is a little awkward. Tristana, she wants to get level 2 and trade with this Vladimir, but Karthus does not provide the most support if the Wukong comes to roam.
Exactly. Ganks are going to be a little more difficult for sure. You've got Draco in the top lane, who, as long as they're not quick-shotting forward or too aggressively, then they should be relatively safe from a Karthus Malphite outside of the ult. But Aaron and Trevor on the other side.
Read one more time right there. Hopefully he comes back. But
yeah, I should be fine.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
Yeah,
Continue with your point.
Yeah, Rakan and Jinx on the bottom side should be relatively safe as well. The poke from Ezreal Karma is threatening, but there really isn't too much lockdown out of the Karma snare, right? So they're gonna have to be very creative. I know Goo is gonna try to farm this up as best they can, but I mean, it's about lane dominance and not necessarily jungle presence here.
Definitely, I agree. I think these lanes, the amount of volatility that's been locked in, at least in the mid lane, is going to be where the focus is. Surprisingly, side lanes, I think, are pretty chill, all things considered. You know, Gray's into Malphite. Malphite's just going to be a big rock. And then on the bottom side, Ezreal Karma, they're going to have a lot of shove, and they're going to have a lot of priority in that lane. And I think that is something that's important to draw attention to. Is we are talking about the volatility of this mid matchup, but Vladimir is not the most self-sufficient champion in the world. He does need help, and although the mid-jungle 2v2 is advantageous for CLG, if Karma starts to arrive, it could be difficult. So I'm looking at Super Sunshine just to sort of chill out, let Karthus power farm, stack dragons, and use Karma to sort of protect the bottom side of the river, and in effect, protect the mid lane as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised here to see Goo pick up Smite and Exhaust in this matchup, maybe to help swing that 2v2 into their favor. Because if you can lock down Bako and get this monkey exhausted before they're able to really push out a lot of that upfront damage that Wukong has, then maybe you've got enough time to get a few Skittles down, to drop a bit of damage, and Druidozer pick up a kill into chaining it into the second, right? Loves the resets, but now we get into this game. The theory crafting is over. We get to watch it unfold. CLG Faith and Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors have loaded into the Rift.
And Super Sunshine, they're already looking at a 5-stack. Now, they're level 1. They have a lot of damage, but no CC really anywhere in this composition, actually, which does lend itself, I think, to the power of CLG skirmishing. They were spotted on that ward, so CLG knows what is happening.
Yeah, unless they take a really awkward path and encounter Aaron here in the jungle, everybody should be fine. Just getting a little early vision. Izo's going to back. And look at those summoners. Okay, teleport Ignite on Malphite top against this Graves.
Yeah, that is very spicy. Izo looking to get scrappy with Draco, perhaps. I mean, Malphite is very good into the Graves. You just kind of build a Warden's Mail, and then all of a sudden you don't take damage, and you keep poking with Q, and it's super annoying to play against. So Izo, if you can get a 1v1 advantage, and most importantly, set the Graves behind, CLG's comp, if they lose a lot of damage from one of their members, they're going to struggle to punch through the Malphite and the Karma later on. CLG, they still sniff out the brush. Town's going to face check.
And that's not going to be good either, because Town, yes, you're a Vladimir, but you're a late game Vladimir, not early. The flash comes through, but you still go down. First blood, Super Sunshine.
In disaster in the jungle for CLG right off the bat. Town loses flash. Town started W, and Town died. And not only that, Druidozer got the kill. And this mid matchup is off to a great start for Super Sunshine. Goose going to steal the red buff as well. This early game is going entirely in their favor.
This is going to be a 3-buff start if Goot wants it. Otherwise, it's just going to be incredibly efficient. Yep, walking straight across the middle lane, knowing that Druidozer is going to be able to act like that bouncer, keeping CLG Town out of this club.
And there's nothing that CLG can do. Town doesn't have mid priority to facilitate Bako at all. And Wukong, a champion that really needs to get levels, get to that level 6, get to that Divine Sunderer, and just going to be so far behind. A masterfully crafted early game from Super Sunshine. The patience to wait at that red buff, knowing that someone from CLG might face check. And Druidozer already on the roam. Look for the rocket jump.
It's going to be here. Drew Dozer with the priority in the mid lane gets an early roam that Draco's not ready for. Both of them have Ignite as Drew Dozer drops it first. Flash is traded. The damage comes through. One more auto and he gets it. Drew Dozer picks up his second kill of the game.
Drew Dozer with the roam at level 2. Tristana rocket jump bomb. You just can't get out. Didn't even need anything like the Hail of Blades. It was the press the attack. Now Sean getting aggressive.
Everywhere. Sean Essence flexing forward here. Is it going to be enough? Aaron picks up the kill right before dying. The reset comes through. The traps come down to snare them in place. Flash Little Chimp out of the play to get the last auto down, and it's traded back. Whilst talking, picks up a return kill. Blood everywhere on the map.
Yeah, and it's not all bad for CLG Faith at the very least. Aaron does get a kill on his signature Jinx, so the bottom lane is at least in their favor. And during the roam, Town was able to sort of shore up the mid lane just a little bit. But we'll take another look at this one. It's mostly just early aggression from Little Chimp and Sean Twitch God, but nice decisiveness from Trevor Roy. And target selection, look at that, the coordination. They immediately turn back onto Sean, take him down, and although Aaron barely doesn't survive, it is still a 2-for-1 on the bottom side.
Man, you said it perfectly. That target selection, both supports were full health by the time that both AD carries were under 100. These players are all on the same page, all working extremely hard to get any advantage they can, and we're seeing the results as Bako looks for another gank, or at least the first goes through. Little Chimp gets knocked up, the traps are down, and you are not going anywhere. Donation over to Aaron, picks it up.
Okay, this is a really nice response from CLG. They've realized that their solo lanes have sort of gone awry in this early game, so they're going to attack the bottom lane as best they can. Remember, Bako was forced to start topside because his red side jungle was completely stolen away. That means he had free time on the map to just kind of gank a lane, so he goes bottom, gets another kill for Aaron. So with 2 on the board, Aaron will at least be a very relevant carry threat. Now, Drew Dozer also has 2 to his name, but at the very least, Town has been able to stabilize the CS in the middle lane as Goo is trying to counter jungle this Wukong.
Yeah, Bako should be able to smite this away. He does. Goo is going to try to trade back any damage, but this jungle is getting completely poached by Super Sunshine. Drew Dozer picking up the chickens early on. Goo now picking up the rest of the topside jungle minus the Gromp. And if that bot lane gank did not go well for CLG Faith, I have a hard time imagining that they're feeling very good in this situation, because you're not getting any gold anywhere for a team that we already mentioned was so hungry to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, this is the team that needs to get ahead, and now the game pretty much back to even. They've weathered the disastrous early game storm, and they're back to a relatively even state. So we'll see what they're able to do. I think it comes down to whichever team is able to make the next proactive play. Dragon is now on the map, and level 6 is on at least Goo. Should be coming through relatively soon. Both junglers hovering around this bottom side. Little Chimp and Sean Twitch God, they're actually letting the lane bounce back out towards them. They're not going to continue perma-prioing it for any potential Dragon play, at least not yet.
Yeah, summoner spells are relatively even on both sides. There is a flash advantage for Sean here, but with the wave coming to maybe a bit more safe of a space, they know that Bako has nothing else to do on the map. So they're happy just giving him a little more space there and letting Goo farm up himself.
Yeah, jungler's still hanging around. Goo has not been farming for quite a bit, actually. Now, his camp's run even up. That's how fast his Karthus has been farming. So he's got the time to hang around, and now they're looking for the play. Aaron getting jumped on.
We're engaging, but we really don't have any CC. The flash forward and the slow from the wall comes down. The Skittles land as well. Goo picks up 1, but the return as well as talking. Bako has to get out of there. The Ignite's down, but Drew Dozer shows up and drops one of his own. 3 kills here in the bottom lane. Excuse me, 4 in total after the AD carry respawns, and this Dragon is Sunshine's to take.
And Super Sunshine, they just pull the trigger. This literally starts by Sean Twitch God just deciding to arcane shift forward. Aaron had no flash, and even though the turn onto Sean was good, this Karthus is already just turbo fed. He even gets a shutdown on the Jinx, and once Drew Dozer arrives, there just isn't anything they can do. The burst is there, and man, Super Sunshine, they're starting to run away with this game. Their mid jungle is fed.
Yeah, Drew Dozer just has permanent priority over this mid lane. Way more wave clear than this Vladimir at this point, given that Drew's got 3 kills to Vlad's none. Town is not in a good spot right here, and it all started with that level 1 play, going down early and giving Drew that extra longsword, essentially.
We already saw that stat flash up on screen. Drew Dozer averaging 9 kills per game on Tristana in ranked. Already a third of the way there at just 7.5 minutes. An absolute pop-off performance from the mid laner of Super Sunshine. We were saying how he's more of a facilitator, he's more of a leader for the team, he's the glue of the team, if you will, and well, that may well be true. He is absolutely looking like the carry right now.
And I mentioned that the dragon here was going to go over to Sunshine. They valued the gold on the map rather than the dragon itself, opting to allow CLG Faith to take it themselves, knowing that if they can rob CLG Faith of that income, they're going to have a much better stance than, you know, a single dragon at 8 minutes in the game.
Absolutely. Super Sunshine, they value the reset, buying all their items and then getting out on the map for this Herald. It should be pretty free for them to take, but worth noting that early Ocean Dragon is really nice when you are a little behind, because you can get some of that sustain. So, you know, Talon already having sustain in the kit, and then on the Vladimir, or with the Ocean Dragon as well, should be pretty fine up against Drew, but he's going in.
Yep, the Hemoplague is going to come down, but it's just to dissuade Drew from running any closer. Both flashes up, and still the ghost for Vladimir, but Town not comfortable at all, and you can tell.
Yeah, now, it is CLG. They're looking for a dive, but remember, Karth is also available, so any additional damage could be huge.
Walls Talking is going to flash forward and get the stun. Aaron picks up one, and they've got the reset. They're excited. Karthus is going to try to dissuade any dive here, but it still looks pretty good to me. Baco's going to get the knock up. Aaron's going to dish out the damage, but is it going to be enough? Flash out the shield from Walls Talking keeps Aaron alive. A colossal performance. You thought the last name was Jaeger.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Oh, it's going to land. Sean returns it. Sniper, but that player's on the other stream.
Yeah, wow. Sean finds the snipe, so they at least trade one back, but what a beautifully executed dive right there from the side of CLG Faith. Again, punching back when they need to most, not letting Super Sunshine get too terribly far ahead. Now, Drew Dozer does use the Herald to take first tower in the mid, which will feel pretty dang good, but Aaron picks up another kill for himself as top laners beating the crap out of each other.
Oh, Ignite comes through, and we're not used to seeing that on a Malphite. All he needs is one cheese wheel to secure it. It's going to put it on the minion to get the movement speed, and the smoke screen keeps him at bay.
Oh, Izo was hungry for blood, but you know who was also hungry for blood? It was CLG on the bottom side. Sean tries to get away, but just can't, and the burst comes through so fast. And then just look at the juggle of the tower aggro. Trevor Roy going to pick it up at the start and then hold it. Look at this. Ignite takes 2 shots, walks out, and then Aaron with the heal flash and the shield from Trevor barely survives, and they're able to pick it up. So bottom lane still going pretty well for the side of CLG. It's just everywhere else is sort of in shambles.
Observer is getting to flex a little bit. If I did that, I think the floaties would burst, but
shout out Ibram and Luigi. Making us look good.
Yep, now we're back. Action in the bottom lane. Plates are still up. It feels like there's been so much action. I wouldn't have even guessed.
Minutes.
Unbelievable, but this is a Jinx and a Tristana on 2 different sides of the map, so it kind of makes sense why we're seeing so many towers fall like this, and Mako is going to get dissuaded with Goo in the realm. It's a 2-0-2 Karthus in a bottom lane that has enough survivability in their own right to keep him at bay.
So Aaron, Goo, and Drew Dozer all had over 1,000 more gold than everybody else in this game. I'm impressed that Aaron's even up there in that club. This Jinx is very strong, but that speaks to how lopsided this game sort of is with the gold allocation. Mako going in.
Huge engage here. Double knockup from the Wukong, and that is great. Aaron picks up 1 kill as Bako picks up the other. Izo TP's in, but it's just to pull out the popcorn and watch it burn.
And the gold wasn't there for Super Sunshine. Drew Dozer was working on top tower, and the decisiveness right there, that's the skirmish composition coming online. Bako goes in, and Trevor Roy follows up. They pick up 2. It's another one in the back pocket of Aaron to boot. This Jinx, man, we've been talking about the Tristana all game, but you cannot underestimate Aaron on his signature pick.
Yeah, Iso gonna put on a show for us. There was perhaps an opportunity if Aaron stepped forward, but the spidey senses are tingling, and you don't want to be caught between that rock and a hard place.
Absolutely not. It always feels bad when Malphite pounds you into the dirt with his ultimate a little bit, I would think.
Yeah.
But I like that play a little bit, though, from Izo. You know, you don't have anywhere to be on the map. You may as well see if Aaron ints a little, you know? And he doesn't. But always good to sort of look for that kind of play. Now, Dragon spawning in about 20 seconds. It is Super Sunshine with all of the pressure in the world around this. Remember, they have the pretty significant tower advantage of mid-tier 1 being down, as Goo is getting aggressive on a town, but town should just be fine. Karthus, not really the best champion at chasing people down.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Vladimir that still has the Sanguine Pool, so the Malphite poses maybe a little less of a threat. Really, it's just a play for the mid lane prio to make sure that they get the second drag. You don't want to donate 2 for free, and yeah, Aaron's going to pick up probably 2, maybe 3 plates, but this is now stopping CLG Faith from getting an easy track to 3 or 4 dragons and putting their foot down.
But what I will say is CLG is picking up a lot of gold. That was just 3 plates that Aaron picked up very quickly right there, and only for a dragon traded over. We'll see if this dive can happen onto Draco. He is pretty caught out.
Yeah, it's hard to think that he makes it out of here. No flash on Draco, just the ultimate to reposition, and it's enough. Actually, Drew Dozer not able to get in range.
That was very nicely played by Draco. Dodges out on not 1, but 2 Skittles, and then using the ultimate to dodge out of Drew Dozer's range. Super clean escape, and I mean, this is CLG Faith. They just got an entire tower onto their Jinx for basically only a dragon traded over. Yeah, they'll lose this bottom lane turret on the backside, but it is so late from Super Sunshine, and CLG Faith, time and time again, it seems like Super Sunshine wants to pull away, but they fight back.
Yeah, it's mid and bottom turret down on the side of CLG Faith, with the top turret really only at a sliver of health. So you assume all outer turrets are going down here pretty soon. This mid lane prio that has been so crucial in the early game is going to continue to be so as they bring Sean and Little Chimp in and drop Drew Dozer probably to a side lane unless an objective is on the map.
Yeah, this Tristana is still pretty unmatched in the side lane. She probably loses one-on-one to the Wukong, but not really an easy way for Baeko to get on top of the Tristana in the one-on-one. So in terms of pressure, Super Sunshine definitely ahead, but you've got to be careful of the skirmishes just like this. Yeah. Izo has ulti, though, so I don't think there's any threat. I think both teams looking to just jockey for positioning over Herald. Super Sunshine again. They've got the wave priority, but the skirmish potential of CLG is massive.
Yeah, absolutely. The play there was to try to bait Izo into thinking that there was a potential to die and ult away so that they didn't have that crucial go button on this Herald fight. Instead, they don't get the crucial resource. Now they're going to move over into Herald and with Izo's ultimate feel a lot better about it. And there it is. Doesn't even get the Sanguine pull down before it goes. Still has it so that the damage threat isn't there, but now, without any health on your Vladimir, this Herald is guaranteed Sunshine.
Yeah, CLG Faith, though, they do get the bottom tower, and Draco's even going to steal away plates. I'm just now, camps, just now realizing, Draco, wrong skin, my friend. It's not winter anymore. Pool Party Graves is where it's at. It is summer. Split. But it's forgiven because you're doing good work for your team. You dodged out on a gank earlier, and then getting a solo tower just leaves the mid-tier 1 up for CLG Faith to be able to collect. So
yeah, Draco officially uninvited, I think, to the caster cabana. Something that I'm sure is way more important than anything in this game. And
absolutely,
I just hope that I'm not the one that has to break the news to him.
Look, y'all, Proving Grounds may be high stakes, but caster game shows, they're something else. Let me tell you. But no, either way. This game, all of a sudden, it's pretty even. Super Sunshine, they will have the Herald to get priority over this Dragon when it spawns in a minute 40, which will be a pretty big deal. But it's not going to be soul point. It's just 1-to-1 in Dragon. So, at all things considered, CLG Faith, they're staying pretty relevant in this game. It's really just the scaling of this Karthus, this Karma, this Tristana that you need to be careful about.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about it. It's the Infernal Soul here, which both sides honestly would be pretty happy with, but I actually favor Sunshine if they get it, just because the Karthus is going to do so much damage to everybody on their team, and that little extra could mean the difference between a won and lost team fight, or a team fight at all if he pops it before they start.
And not only that, but remember, this is a composition where the tankiest members are Baeko's Wukong and Trevor Roy's Rakan. So there's not really any tanks to be found on this squad, meaning that any extra damage could do a lot of work. Izo takes a top tower basically for free as CLG Faith. They're prioritizing fighting over mid priority. It seems like they want to go at this dragon. They know they're strong. They're on 1 to 2 items on every member, and they do not want to let Super Sunshine happen.
30 seconds until the dragon, and Town's going to take half health out.
Oh,
the Zonya's right on time to thwart Izo's engage, but this is Baco doing the counter. Goo's able to get a huge ultimate down, but the damage isn't enough to drop anybody as of yet, but Drew Dozer secures one, trade it back the other way. Izo goes down. Trevor Roy, as well as talking, he's going to pick up one as well, but Drew goes down. Aaron's picking up 2. The 3? What happened? Oh, it's a Tristana bomb. I didn't even see it. The satchel goes off, and she picks up post-mortem as if a martyrdom was set into the arena. Inhib now down. No, they're going to leave it up smartly at 18 minutes. Wow.
There is no lion in the phrase suns out, guns out, because, man, everybody was firing in this fight. The mechanical outplays were insane. First, the timing of Town's Zonyas is critical, and then the way Trevor and Baco buy space is huge. Town flashes to get the heal to avoid dying for Karthus, and just look at this CLG bottom side. Trevor flashes in, Aaron flashes in, and they clean up 2, but not before the bomb pops and cleans up the fight in favor of Super Sunshine. A quad going down for Drew Dozer. What a play as Dragon was taken on the backside by Super Sunshine.
I mean, it's Aaron who has the bomb on their head, and Draco just holding them in an embrace as if to say, like, I'm going down with you in this ship. I had no idea at the time, but it's a game of literally inches, honestly, at that point. These teams are so explosive. The plays are absolutely incredible. Now we get a little bit of a slowdown, but it's about what's coming up forward. Surely Izo doesn't have enough damage yet. The Eclipse has a lot of lifesteal, and there's no heal cut for the Malphite, but the Ignite and the Ultimate is enough. I was wrong completely. It's an Ignite differential, and Izo flexing on him.
You see, there is heal cut on the Malphite because he was a Chad and took the Ignite, putting Draco in the furnace right there. That was beautifully done by the top laner. And I mean, all things considered, a pretty big solo kill. It's just going to give Super Sunshine so much priority on the map. CLG not really able to step up anywhere right now in the 4v5. And that gold graph that flashed up earlier, I mean, so up and down, but I think the story is that it's all red. I think the biggest lead this game has been like 3,000, so not significantly, but it's been Super Sunshine that's been just one step ahead the entire time.
Yeah, funnily enough, it's feels like 2 gargantuan 80 carries on either side. Drew Dozer picking up a lot of the early kills and giving him the power that he's throwing around the map right now, and Aaron almost mirroring him on the other side. So these fights feel like they're revolving around those two, and given the go buttons from Baco and Izo, it's team fight comp versus team fight comp, and who can team fight better against the other team fight comp in the fight between two teams, you know?
Yeah, and it's only 20 minutes in, and both of those super fed ADCs having 3 items. It's just unbelievable how accelerated they are in this game. And we were spotlighting the mid matchup, and Drew Dozer, man, we were talking about Talon, the new kid on the block, gonna come in and make some flashy plays, and I think Talon, all things considered, has played a fine game, but Drew Dozer putting the kid in his place as a nice dodge comes out.
Counter engage from Baco after Izo whiffs the ultimate. Little Chimp goes down to 300 HP, and I'm looking at Aaron. I'm looking at Drew Dozer, and Drew Dozer picks up one with the Karthus. Thankfully, Goo picks it up, and now we get the resets, though. Aaron looking for Izo. The shred is there. Town picks up the kill, but it's Jinx that gets excited. Now, with 2 kills on the side, or sorry, no, 1. It was just a low health bar from Drew Dozer. These teams are at a stalemate, both of them so equally matched.
Oh, and Trevor still looking for it. Always the aggressor. That is a Zonya's Rakan, so we can dive into the front line and stop watch. But it ends up just being a 1-for-1 after everything. Izo gets picked up on the front. A super clean dodge out from Trevor Roy at the start of that prevented that fight from going awry for CLG Faith. But Super Sunshine, they don't end up losing out too badly, and everybody's just going to go back to farming for, I'm sure, only about, let's say, a minute and a half until that dragon spawns.
And now the calm before the storm, it feels like. So many summoners blown there. We lost the flash on Drew Dozer crucially and the ghost from town, but with Aaron picking up their flash, perhaps that's the swing that's needed. Izo, you have to think that once a Malphite ult lands that it's going to be one, but CLG Faith has been so good at playing around it.
CLG Faith in general has team fought so incredibly well. I feel like they definitely have the burden of execution on them with this composition. I think Super Sunshines is a lot more of just like a run at you deathball comp, right? Whereas CLG has a much harder to execute comp, much more of a skirmish comp, and they have been so incredibly decisive. The amount of coordination that has come through from these members has been really impressive. But I want to point out, Trevor Roy snuck into the river all the way back there and is just going to camp out until the dragon. A Rakan flank could be the play that changes this game. Town also pushing top lane all the way up. He was the one that got that kill onto the Malphite, by the way. So finally, there's Rakan getting some much-needed gold. Vladimir, much-needed gold into the back pocket.
Yeah, I don't know if the Bush is going to do that, but now it's a 4v5, and they know it. They're going forward as Sean Twitch God starts pumping out the damage. Drew Dozer now entering the fight a little bit late. Doesn't even pick up an assist there, but it's Draco that's next on the platter. The Karthus ultimate goes through, and it's soaked up by the magic shield. They're not going to be able to get the kills, but they do get the inhibitor en route to the dragon.
And they kill Town, one of the most impactful team fighters for this team. But no, they're looking at Baron. This is risky. You don't have a lot of key cooldowns. Every ultimate is down, save for Drew Dozer's Buster Shot. Meanwhile, Bako and Trevor Roy have their team fighting ultimates available. TP coming in the backside from Draco. Town does not have one at all, so it will be a 4v5. Baron's getting melted.
Yeah, Izo doesn't have ultimate, but I don't even know if you need it. It goes down to 100 HP, and it's just a slap from the Malphite that secures it. Sean picks up one kill, and now we're looking for more. Bako still has another charger ultimate as Goo and Izo are stuck in the pit. They're going to go down. Little Chimp is going to have to run for their life as Aaron picks up the kill. This is so close. Baron goes over to Super Sunshine, but it's mid-prio and the Dragon that has CLG Faith written all over it.
That Baron absolutely got cooked in the Baron pit. The Tristana, the Ezreal, and the Malphite. The Karthus just shredded it. I was not expecting that. What a call from Super Sunshine, knowing how quick that would be, but we're not done.
Yeah, this is Drew Dozer. He's got a city permit, and we are ready to level this town if he's ready for it. He is going to be able to go in as Aaron has to flash over the pit with Wallstock and barely making it out. The auto coming in from Sean is going to secure it. Red buff, the consolation prize, but there is a TP behind. They're engaging on a Little Chimp to try to get anything in return, and it's Sean that goes down instead. This is Town that's going to be able to heal a little bit until Izo surprised him. It's a jump scare. You'd think the game was too hard. You would call him Kaizo. He picks it up, and Drew Dozer post-mortem again secures the ace.
What a game we've had so far, Reed, in the first one of the split. CLG and Super Sunshine. I'm losing my words. They are just throwing haymakers at each other. My lord, what an insane turn of events. Town went crazy in that fight, absolutely running that town. It is CLG that picks up the dragon, but remember, a lot of those big ultimates, the quickness and the cyclone from the Wukong were expended at the Baron, so CLG didn't really have anything left, and at the end of the day, it just came down to Super Sunshine running them down, but not without quite a few shenanigans.
Oh. I mean, Little Chimp is so survivable with that shield, right? And then Drew Dozer going in, picking up, like I said, another kill post-mortem, thanks to this bomb that comes through, or the Ignite, actually, excuse me. But explosive couldn't have been a more appropriate word coming into this, right?
And look at that gold graph. Aaron and Drew Dozer just so big in this game. Guardian Angel now picked up for the Jinx. Meanwhile, a Bloodthirster for Drew Dozer. They are the two that we have to have our eyes on, the double ADCs. And I will say, Draco picking up Drew Dozer at the end of that fight, I think saved the game. They had a wave of supers, and even though Bako and Trevor Roy were respawning, they are not the wave clear type of champions. And Tristana, we know how fast she can take these towers. We just saw it right there.
And I want to draw your attention. Goo has the Magi Soul Stealer on a Karthus, and we're going to see what kind of damage it can do, dropping some of the carries down to half health minus Towns, and they get the turret. Towns looking forward. He's in 1v5 as Jinx is going to be able to land an ultimate onto 3, barely missing the ultimate, but Iso goes in and doesn't get anything for it. Bako trades it back, and this push is over Super Sunshine, but it's a cloudy day today.
These Karthus walls from Goo have been insane. Aaron picked up the reset
Oh.
on Iso, but couldn't run forward because of the wall. He got slowed down. Now Sean's in!
Yeah, this is going to be it. Drudozer flashes out of the knockup, is going to be trading with Aaron. This battle of the Titans goes Aaron's way.
Down.
The Jaegers prevail, honestly. Goo goes down as well. Nothing is going to be traded back unless Sean lands a Goo, and he doesn't. Draco's looking to drop a meteor on Sean and Little Chip with Bako in the flank, but this is over. Super Sunshine, you have overstayed your welcome, and CLG Faith have punished.
Oh, Drew Dozer and Sean Twitch God, they wanted to end the game right there, but Aaron aired out a Jinx rocket right into their faces. What a massive Vladimir ultimate it was from Town to get us started, and Trevor again jukes the mouth, allowing for them to pick up the kill, but again, the wall made it such that Aaron couldn't run forward, and CLG is forced to kite back. But here's where the overextension comes in. Sean and Drew, they were on a mission to kill the enemy ADC, but unfortunately, the bottom lane of CLG was just too good, and they're able to pick up the Tryst.
Aaron living with so little health there, less than
the GA.
50.
It's huge that he saved the GA. I mean, like, at least getting the GA would have been worth it for Super Sunshine, or not necessarily worth, but a win, right? But they didn't even get that. That is critical.
Well, Drew doesn't
for the
even go
next fight.
down at that point. Surely he just lives because Aaron can't pump out damage while in the GA. So 50 damage being the difference maker there.
Unreal. The Gale Force from Aaron was really the difference. The execute damage coming through, and the super minions were beating on him, but it just wasn't enough. And it cannot be understated how well the bottom lane of CLG Faith was playing. We said at the beginning of this game they might be a top 5 bot lane in Proving Grounds, and they're making a pretty strong case for it so far, I'd say, Reed.
Yeah, and if you're Sunshine looking to close this out, you've got open inhibitor in the middle and bottom side, but Iso with the ultimates, yes, they haven't landed, but in my mind, it's really been CLG Faith that's been outplaying, not necessarily Iso misplaying in this situation. So knowing that those triggers haven't landed, are you a little apprehensive going into this space?
It is. I feel like we've seen so far that if Iso's not able to come up with the big Malphite ultimate, he is just a big free reset, really, for Aaron. And wow, wait, CLG Faith, they're going to try to rush Aaron. This is extremely aggressive. They know.
they've got a lot of damage, but if Super Sunshine doesn't face check this very okay. They pulled off. The observers kind of teasing us there. And actually Sunshine doesn't even know, but they're going to be starting it themselves. I mean, Draco is still halfway across the map. He's going to have to TP because of his mispositions, but it's too late. Bako, you've engaged, but where is your follow-up? Draco comes in, but it's too little, too late. Goo shuts you down. Aaron goes down to 20% HP, and Town is left all alone. It was not big enough for 2, let alone 4, mind you, as Aaron just looks for any way to get back. This is Super Sunshine pushing it down the middle lane, looking to upset CLG Faith.
And Sunshine again, they know how fast the Baron goes down and they pull the trigger. CLG Faith was too slow on the rotation. Now, the bottom lane of CLG, they have to save the game.
It's Aaron that's going to have to cut this wave. You get a big knockup, but it's not enough. Aaron's going to get returned by the ISO, and now the damage is 5v1. There's no way you get through it. The second Nexus turret goes down, and Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors have found the cornucopia, and god damn is the eating good.
What an insane game to start off the summer split here. It was back and forth and back again, but at the end of the day, it's always sunny on this stream because Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors, they were just one step ahead. The bottom lane of CLG Faith, it just wasn't enough.
Where are my sunglasses? I had them for this. I forget it. Everything else landed. This will be fine. Just imagine. Anyway, yeah, what a game. I mean, with Drew Dozer getting that early lead that we saw, we thought for sure that this was going to be like a really quick roll.
Yeah.
But then just so scrappy, thwarting so many of the engages by ISO from CLG Faith, and then re-engaging using Baco and a lot of their follow-up. I mean, it looked pretty good. I legitimately didn't have any like clue as to who was going to be able to take that until honestly the ult started landing, the flanks came through. It felt like that mid-fight where we saw Trevor Roy in the bush separated from the team was a huge turning point.
It really was. That was one of those situations where the game kind of had gotten back to even, and Trevor Roy thought he was going for the 5-head flank. I thought he was going for the 5-head flank, but Super Sunshine, they don't care. They're just going to engage on you with in your base. They have a Malphite, and they pull the trigger, and that was definitely a major play in this game. And I have to say, you know, CLG, they did an amazing job fighting back, and the mechanical outplays I think were there, but Super Sunshine, they drafted a very easy to execute composition, a very basic team fight comp, and I think that was a huge difference maker in this one.
I mean, no frontline on the side of CLG Faith. It's a very, very common lead into you need to make sure that you outplay the enemy team because there is no room for error. And sure, Town started to turn it on there at the end. We all know about that late game Vladimir that is just as tanky as a tank, but will absolutely 100-0 anybody who doesn't have 2 or more defensive items on the opposing team, but they just couldn't get there. And we mocked up the Drew Dozer Town matchup and wow, did Drew Dozer deliver.
It really did. And surprisingly, it wasn't even in the 1v1. Honestly, credit to Town for staying even in farm and not dying to the Tristana when Drew Dozer was that fed, but just it really came down to Drew Dozer was roaming like a madman, fighting like a madman, and carried that game on the Tristana.
Well, we have one thing at least to transition to here. If you, fans of Riot Games titles, are invited to fill their summer calendars with online esports competitions in the Unified Premier and Unified Community Leagues. Over $30,000 is up for grabs between classic Summoner's Rift tournaments and bonus events like 1v1s, ARAMs, TFT, and Legends of Runeterra. Learn more and subscribe now at unified.gg. It's just $25 a month to get access to every online and on-site Unified hosted tournament.
And thank you so much for joining us for this first game, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back in just a minute with some Caster Cabana conversations. We'll see you in just a few.
Come on in, everybody. Welcome to the Caster Cabana. While we wait for seeding and matchups to be set, we're going to have a conversation to conjure up some cool conundrums with some callous confidence. Hawk, let's clash.
That alliteration was fire. But you know what's not fire? This water. It's nice. Come on, have a seat. And I've got a question for you. I've got a question for you, Reed.
Okay.
First one that we got. Which player in PGCQ #1 has the beachiest name?
Beachiest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Beachiest. Okay. Just looking it through, my first thought was actually from our last team, and it's going to sound a little bit weird, but Baco, just given that you're going to be baking in the sun, and I assume that given that we are, all shut-in League of Legends players, I assume that not a lot of us do very well in direct sunlight anyway. So Baco would be my early submission here.
I like how your first thought is like your mind's still on the last game, and you're just like, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
correct.
Bako, okay, that could be like Sun. No, I like it. I'm following you at the very least. For me, I think I gotta go with Captain Shrimps. Like the shrimp captain himself.
Yeah.
At least very ocean themed. I feel like you eat seafood, you know, at the beach. I love seafood. I like shrimp. I'm sure. Yeah. Hyper has just spoken in our ear and also reminded us that there's a player named Sunlight, which that's the basic answer, right? I mean, Sunlight.
Yeah.
It's a great summary name. But
we have Shady too. Like we're not grasping at low hanging fruit here. We're looking for some creative. If I wanted to have another alliteration back in this analysis here, so.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with Captain Shrimps because shrimp makes me think of the beach. But next question, I'm sure we'll get it on our screen in just a moment. We don't actually know what these are, by the way, so we are going in blind.
Correct. Yeah.
What team would you want to join for a game of beach volleyball? Ooh, okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my answer, and this is purely from social media, the only sports-related media that I've seen from any of these teams, excuse me, was Berryville University with their like soccer outing that they did a few days ago. So honestly, I might go towards Berryville University because at least they've touched grass in the last few days.
I feel like that is a good test for like these teams. Have they touched grass in the last few games? Yes or no? For me, I'm gonna go. Okay, this one, it's gonna be another stretch, but hear me out. I'm gonna go DK crew because I feel like if I had a bunch of, I'm thinking of like DK, you know, from the popular video game, right? If I've got a bunch of gorillas on my team, I feel like I got pretty good odds in this volleyball match. So I'm feeling good about that one.
Yeah, some have some pretty long arms, some have some flying type abilities. I can understand your references here, but
I hope for everyone's sake, by the way, that you guys saw the really cute graphic they put out on their Twitter of like of the LeBlanc and the Silas themed monkeys. It was adorable. But either way, next question, Hyper, cue me up. Oh, there's the graphic.
We got the graphic.
Shout out.
Oh my god.
Look at how cute that is.
Is there a better production team in the world right now? I don't think so, mostly because MSI is gonna but wow.
Absolute shout out. I will say it is sad. If you didn't catch the other stream, 100x, they did end up taking care of business against the DK crew over on Unified 2, but it was certainly a banger to say the least. At least I'm guessing. We didn't actually see it, but you can't deny that graphic is adorable. Next question, though, I think it's behind. Would you rather drink ginger turmeric or a Super Sunshine fruit basket smoothie on the beach?
Okay. How is this defensible? What? Is somebody going crazy over ginger turmeric right now?
Maybe you're crazy, Reed, and want to drink ginger.
What?
I mean, I know some people that love ginger. That's all.
Yes,
that's
ginger.
my one defense.
Yeah.
That's my one defense of ginger turmeric.
Yeah, you're like, oh, but Reed, ginger's really refreshing, and it's got that like wake you up kind of feel to it, right? But this is a whole fruit basket. Like the world is your oyster at that point. You could pick and choose whatever you wanted from there. All good things too. It's like, oh, come on.
I'm imagining
nobody's talking about a ginger drink on the beach.
I'm imagining like one of those sort of like superfood smoothies, you know, where they just put like every like fruit under the sun in there, and it's supposed to like make you Superman or something. If
we're talking about Muscle Beach, maybe. I could see that. I could see that.
No, I'm definitely going for the Super Sunshine fruit basket smoothie. I will say, if I'm sick, then maybe I'll go for the ginger drink, like a ginger ale when you're sick.
Yeah,
that always goes hard. But let's see. Do we have any more questions on the docket? Hopefully, y'all are enjoying. Which little legend would be the best beach companion?
I'm not going to say you first. I know my answer. Or maybe you need a little time.
I need time. I don't play TFT.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What is the whale? What's it called?
I'm Googling them right now.
Starmaw.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
It's gotta be the Starmaw, right? Like your own little friend. You can go out into the ocean with this thing. I assume it's bigger. Yeah, it's a little legend, but it's like it's a little legend, right? Like rideable, right? Surely.
Yeah,
it's a whale.
Probably somewhat rideable, you know? Like
yeah, that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it.
Like
it's the Starmaw.
It's like, yeah. Maybe it's like manatee size, you know, where it's not like huge, but it's like.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah, that's still fine. I mean, manatees are like.
I guess they are
big.
pretty big.
I know you're more of an expert in the avian areas,
not
but
aquatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
We stay out of the water.
I just migrated here from the winter, so I don't really know the local fauna around the beach. It's been a year, but I have found my answer, and it's gonna be. I know it's a little basic, but I would love to just have a little pengu friend at the beach. So adorable.
Oh, okay.
I feel like he would love getting in the water with me. My little pengu. You know, they love to swim. Would not fly away from me, thankfully.
True.
But I couldn't go flying with him because I'm a hawk. Oh.
Yeah, wait, hold on. You're actually griefing this.
Oh, that actually makes me really sad. But either way, I'm getting word. Last question coming up. What? Okay. Which which player or caster is most likely to drop their ice cream in the sand?
Oh God. Okay. Honestly, I'm down to do both. The easy answer here is Regdor, because that guy, that guy is everywhere, anywhere, everywhere, all at once. Legitimately, and I would not be surprised if he, got a little bit distracted sitting there on Muscle Beach watching somebody crank out some pull-ups, and then accidentally run into, a pole or something and drop the ice cream.
Oh no.
As far as the players though, man, what would constitute like a clumsy player, or maybe like a hyperactive player, somebody who's like all over the place and could lose it. Maybe
like there's like a naming convention, like.
Oh, okay.
Like Blaze is super hot, so his ice cream melts.
Yes, true. Looking through here, man, it is low. Low possibilities.
Just like
honestly.
First instinct. Give me your like number one. Like, what's the one off the bat sticks out?
Oh wait, it's Crazy Goose. They don't even have hands.
True. Wait, that's
no
actually
opposable
good.
thumbs. Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah.
Easy. This.
There you go.
Yeah.
I feel like geese too. They're kind of like, at least as far as birds go, they're really mean, and I feel like a crazy one would like. A goose would knock your ice cream out of your hand. It wouldn't be the goose's ice cream. It would be somebody else's. The
KD of ice cream deaths here for this Crazy Goose would be astronomical. Like they're really, the limit does not exist for this guy, I would assume. So.
Oh man. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on the Caster Cabana Conversations. I know I had a blast. Reed, did you have a blast?
Yeah. And the best part about it is there's more to come.
Absolutely. Well, be sure to stick around. We will have game number 2 coming up for you guys once we get the Swiss bracket all seated up. Should be about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how long the games take. Oh, okay, never mind. We've already got the seating. Our next game is Taco Gaming up against the Cincinnati Fear. That is sure to be a good one. And the other stream over on Unified 2, be sure to catch Team Fish Taco up against Supernova. So 2 amazing games queued up for you all. Be sure that you don't touch that browser unless you're going over to Unified 2. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Welcome back to the stream, everyone. If you just missed it, we just saw Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors, take down CLG Faith in a pre-seeded update at the very least, and a great kickoff, honestly, to our tournament. But before our next game, we're going to throw it over to Smacks to get a look at how EG Prodigies did in their match against STXB. Oh, sorry, we do not have that video. Excuse me. Instead, we will throw to that soon. We're going to talk about our next matchup, the Cincinnati Fear against Taco Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be an exciting one. Cincinnati Fear, of course, is 3/5 of the no team roster that won the Proving Ground Circuit Qualifier, the second one last spring. Of course, retaining Dragoon, Blaze, and Plux at top, mid, and support. But I think the big thing that everybody's looking at is Trickster is now subbing in for the superstar jungler Griffin. And Trickster, very, very capable jungler in his own right. But there are big shoes to fill for this team.
Yeah, Julius, in our conversation the other day, mentioned that the team had only been together at this point for 5 days. So they're still young. They're still figuring out, how they play with each other. But one of the things that they really were excited about was that Blaze and Trickster were there immediately. Like, the connection was there, and they will play through those two with so much comfortability that you wouldn't have thought that it would have been less than a week.
Yeah, and ironically, Trickster actually was playing for Taco Gaming last split alongside Doxa, forming one of the most formidable mid-jungle 2v2s in the entirety of Amateur last split. So I'm not too concerned for Trickster, and I think with a mid laner like Blaze, a little bit less of a hyper carry focused mid laner, a little bit more of a facilitator, I do think that on this Cincinnati Fear team, Trickster will have the tools to really be able to pop off and influence the map in the way that he wants. But of course, staring them down on the other side is the new look for Taco Gaming, and only retaining one player from last split, and that's Rovex.
Yeah, 4 new players here. Eclipse, City Witty, Ayakura, and Gurika are all newcomers here. But now, finally, we get to throw it over to Smacks detailing a previous game. We're going to be able to talk about these two teams after that.
Hey, Unified, we just watched Evil Genius's Prodigies versus STXP super talented X high-ranked players. It was a great game. We had some really cool role swaps right at the beginning, lane swaps, I should say, and some Scion and Rek'Sai invades from STXP. It was really cool.
I thought Donbray responded really well to a curveball. I've seen him not respond well in the past, but I thought he played well, and the same with Yukino. It was good.
Yeah, there were some really standout plays to respond to the kind of cheesy pressure, and also Mia just getting kill after kill after kill. I love watching Halo Blade Xayah, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really good game overall from Evil Genius's Prodigies. Kept it stalwart the entire time. They are up 1-0 now, and yeah, that's the game. See ya.
Thank you, Smacks. I appreciate it. Getting a little insight into the other games going on around the sphere. 1 round down, 4 rounds to go. Only 1 today, 3 tomorrow. More numbers coming at you real quick. I want to make sure you're as confused as possible. But now back to Taco Gaming. We were talking about it earlier. Tell me about how these teams, or how this team is going to be playing out with so many free radicals.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. This is a very new look for Taco Gaming, as previously mentioned. Last split, I said that they really worked around the mid-jungle 2v2 of Trickster and Doxa. And of course, Trickster on the opposite side now, and Doxa not playing for Taco Gaming either. So they've brought in City Witty and Ayakura. Of course, Ayakura was a part of the no-name team that was this close to upsetting everybody and getting in to the last group stage at PGCQ number 2 in the spring. Unfortunately, fell short at 2 and 3. So very exciting to see her brought onto this roster, and I think paired up alongside a jungler like City Witty, someone with a lot of experience and mechanical prowess, does still create a pretty electrifying prospect here for Taco Gaming.
Yeah, and bouncing back to the Fear here, I want to contrast that a little bit with the fact that none of those players, have ever been in academy. But Julius mentioned that, I mean, the whole point of this is to elevate their players, get them to that next level, and they feel like they are so close. Cincinnati Fear coming in as the 6th seed here on the Proving Ground circuit, open qualifiers at least, and that speaks to a lot about how potent this team can be despite not having any of that next level experience.
Right, and I think there's rightfully a lot of hype around this roster. You know, they were, again, 3/5 of that no-team roster in the spring that performed so incredibly well. And not only did they perform well to start off, but they really ramped into the split, getting quarterfinals in the first qualifier and then winning the second one is just a really impressive turnaround from that roster. And so I think considering that a lot of their identity should still be there, rightfully so. There's so much hype surrounding them, but I think Taco Gaming is one of those teams that we sort of look at coming to this tournament and you wonder how they're all the way down at that 13th seed because there is so much talent here. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Eclipse in the top lane. The top laner for Dignitas Academy in the spring split performed pretty well, all things considered, and having that academy experience alongside the previous experience of City Witty means that there is a lot of veterancy on Taco Gaming, and not only that, but a lot of mechanical prowess.
Yeah, Taco Gaming taking down Wolfpack, taking care of business, I'll say. They definitely expected to win their first game, and it was all about the rest of the day and day 2, of course. But they really wanted to focus on peaking at the right time. They know that obviously they haven't perfected the game as well, and as long as they're constantly improving, they feel confident that they're going to be just fine throughout this process, making sure that they qualify in that top 16 that move on to the circuit. So with Cincinnati Fear on the red side and Taco Gaming on the blue side, I believe, yes. Yeah. This matchup is going to be set up pretty highly. I know that Taco Gaming does like to have that first pick prio, and I wonder if Cincinnati Fear, with some of the individual prowess, can punish with some counter picks here for like Eclipse or Ayakura.
Yeah, definitely looking for some counter picks, maybe even for Plux. I feel like bottom lane will be a huge part of this game because, as mentioned, Rovex at support. Role swap down, won the best role swap award from Smacks at the reveal show and performed extremely well in that role alongside Lynx forming the bottom lane in spring, and seeing him back in the summer, I think he will be a hugely influential part of this roster for the new look Taco Gaming, being able to make plays, I think, around a more topside focused team. Everybody knows that Sketch can hold it down no matter what. You can ban out 5 ADCs and send the kitchen sink at him in the early game, and he will still find a way to carry a game. So if Rovex is able to get unlocked and get Ayakura ahead, get Eclipse ahead, that could be the winning formula here for Taco Gaming. But before we get too into the analysis here, I do have one concern for Taco Gaming. Reed. It's very serious concern.
Oh, okay. Yes.
It is not Tuesday.
Oh, no. They know? Did anybody tell them, or?
Oh, you're right. What if they don't know it's Tuesday, or it's not Tuesday?
Doesn't
do
even
they
matter.
Get the debuff?
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance could be bliss. We'll have to see if ignorance will be bliss in this game at the very least. If at least they could say if they lose, they can just blame it on it not being Tuesday and then go 3-0 tomorrow. That has generally been the Taco Gaming way. We'll see if the Taco Tuesday debuff for Monday ends up being super influential.
Are you that excited though to be a part of the team that can only perform one day out of a 7-day week?
It worked out pretty well for them last split. They made like I'm pretty sure they made quarterfinals in the first one and finals in the second one. That's not bad.
You know what? I can't argue with the results. As every analyst would agree, if you're a results based, if you perform results based analysis, you're never wrong. So
results based analysis is the only way to go. You know, all the Twitter analysts and the Reddit analysts, they do it already, and they're always right. So I don't know. I think there's something to be said for that.
Well, for 30 more seconds into the draft, or until we're into the draft, and one last point, besides the Taco Gaming debuff, bringing it back to the Fear. the focus for the team, the effort to peak at the right time. They are comfortable somewhat in this early portion of the open qualifiers, but they know it's going to get more difficult. And if they can show the kind of team that they are and push to the next level, it's such a common theme that we see in all of these teams throughout this whole tournament, honestly, that the end result is the next level. But I mean, the games are already, if we have anything like we did the game 1 with CLG and Super Sunshine, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh man, I could do with another game that's that crazy.
Yeah.
That was so damn exciting. But either way, it is time for the draft between Taco Gaming and the Cincinnati Fear.
So some of the power picks we talked about before, some of the comfort picks that could come in. I am looking more towards the counter pick. I know that the R3 and R5 picks are going to really tell us a lot, obviously, but man, I'm just warming up, and even though we're at the beach, it feels so good.
Yeah, it definitely does. And interestingly, Taco Gaming banning out the Talia on the blue side. Remember, this pick went unpicked and banned in the last game. I think we didn't really expect that to happen. I think that's just sort of talks to more the pools of the players that we are watching, but I'll have to scroll through later and look at some of the statistics on how much Talia ends up being picked or banned across the OQ. Either way, Karthus has been removed. We saw, of course, it was Goo that used it to great effect for Super Sunshine in the game 1 that we just saw over here.
Yep. And you talked about trying to ban out Sketch's pool and get them, maybe a little bit uncomfortable on how hard that could be. Taco Gaming agreeing with you here. No point in even banning anything in the bottom lane, probably. And honestly, in draft phase, it is difficult to ban a bottom. Oh, and I cast or cursed it. No.
We're both looking like fools, Reed. It's okay. But what I will say is they have taken out like the best team fighting ADC on the patch. A lot of other ADCs that people have been looking for are more Ezreal, which is a little bit more mid-game poke based. Yeah. Kaisa, a little bit more dive-based. Callista, even, is more lane-focused. So they're taking out the big hyper carry, which I do think makes a lot of sense. And unsurprisingly, Cincinnati Fear, they decided to ban out the Lucian. Just the same as MSI. Seems like it's going to be a 100% pick ban, at least pretty close to it.
It's so valuable. You've got the flex between mid and bottom lane, even top lane in some counter matchups. Just don't tell Huni. But with that level of flexibility, it feels difficult not to ban it unless you're picking it up yourself. But 3 different lanes here banned out from Taco Gaming. Possibly 3 different lanes here for Fear as well. We'll see.
And I think this is a great Wukong ban from Taco Gaming, clearly signaling that they don't want to first pick it, but giving that one over to Trickster on R1 or 2, I think would just be really bad. It's the best carry jungler on the current patch. I don't think there's any argument for a different one. And giving that over to what we expect to be the focal point of the Cincinnati Fear composition would just be a disaster. So getting rid of that, and then Fear, they're banning out the Karma. So maybe they were watching Unified live stream before, because clearly they know that the Karma Karthus is a threat, and they take that one away. And it just comes down to what the first pick will be, and it will be that aforementioned Ezreal.
Yep. Safe. Doesn't reveal too much about the team. You know that there isn't just going to be an absolute identity whenever you lock in an Ezreal like that. So Taco Gaming kind of holding the cards close to the chest. You would anticipate Fear picking up maybe a couple power picks that they like for the comp. Also, maybe not revealing too much going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And with the Ezreal first pick, it makes that Karma ban all the more valuable. They're not going to get that huge lane. And if you want to pick something like the Kaisa here for Sketch, something nice and aggressive, maybe a little bit weaker in the lane, you don't want her to get bullied out, because Karma is a champion that can basically solo win lanes on her own, it feels like, with how much power she has in the Inner Flames and the Mantra Qs. So they just do so much work. Now, is Plux going to pick up the support here, or do you go towards something like a prio pick in jungle? But no, they're actually getting Blazes LeBlanc.
Yeah, this is I would say definitely not pick up a support, because obviously Kaisa loves those big engaged supports, something to go in with her, or at least to initiate, right? Whereas Ezreal on the other side, not as much. Usually it's enchanters in the bottom lane paired with this Ezreal, so they don't feel like they're going to be you know, at risk of losing maybe a priority support and instead pick up just a bunch of influence here for Blaze on the LeBlanc.
Yeah, and the response immediately coming through from Ayakura is the Syndra, so clearly looking at a lot of volatility in this lane. I was wondering if she'd go towards something more like the Galio, a little bit more facilitating, but no, they want her to carry, and I mean, I like this pick a lot. You can blow up the LeBlanc if she missteps even once.
Yeah.
And now Taco Gaming, I would have to think it will be a jungle blind pick here. I don't think you're going to go all the way down the tier list, but you know, you can't even guarantee that you will get a counter pick and a Trickster, but they are going to save it. It is a Leona, which Ezreal Leona, not something I was expecting.
Me neither. I already said it. I am so cursed. This whole game is just one wrong prediction after another for me. And I'm eating crow, which thankfully for you is not necessarily the same species. So, but going to Blaze, I've got to get at least 3 in. You've got one more coming. Don't worry. Now you respond with support or you get them banned.
Yeah, and I feel like there was no surprises here. Kai'Sa, Nautilus, it's the tried and true, and that's why I was actually so surprised by the Leona pick, because I feel like you were opening this up a lot, because Kai'Sa, Nautilus into Ezreal Leona, all things considered, should do pretty well in this lane. I'm expecting Sketch to be able to do just fine, and the all-in potential is there, but not only that, you're giving Flux a lot of opportunities to roam around. Now, in terms of priority, it does come down a little bit to what you decide to do. Kai'Sa does have better wave clear than the Ezreal level 1, but the Leona and the Ezreal have better fighting level 1. So if you're able to get aggressive, maybe you land a Shield of Daybreak, it can get a little spicy, as Graves is the ban from Cincinnati Fear, not wanting a safe blind pick to go over to Eclipse. And this signals to me that they want Dragoon to get onto something signature, a carry, maybe the Gwen, maybe the GP, or even the Darius.
Ooh. Actually, the GP looks really, really good here, honestly. The Darius, they do have R5. That, in my mind, does open up Darius to a possibility. That would be super fun. But it's jungler here for Sketch, first of all, and then we get to respond, right? So I assume it's going to be... That Gangplank feels like more of the blind pick option rather than the counter, but I mean, if it's something Eclipse walks into, I know that Fear are going to pull that trigger.
I mean, I will say, I think Gangplank is very blindable here. Ban out one more counter to it, and then you can save counterpick for your superstar jungler in Trickster. Yeah. And Dragoon's Gangplank is absolutely a force to be reckoned with, but I would not be surprised if they do want to still go for R5 counterpick on the top side, because I do think that Eclipse up against Dragoon will be a very influential lane in this game, especially, again, if the side of Plux wants to try to roam up there, leave Sketch on the island, and play around his top laner.
Yeah, 4 junglers banned in round 2 ban phase. No top laners, so really the whole pool is available here. But with kind of Sketch having to, we assume, or sorry, Trickster blind picking their jungler and giving Plux that counter. I'm looking at the team. I'm seeing some dive aspects to it with the Kai'Sa, the Nautilus. Obviously, LeBlanc is going to be able to do a lot here. I would either want something that goes in with, like the Kindred that can follow up on the damage. Yeah, honestly, I'm here for it. And they take the GP away.
That's a great steal from Taco Gaming. Blind Kindred from Trickster. This is a pick that is saying, I want to carry, but wow, I was not expecting this at all. Trickster throwing down the gauntlet here, and I will say it is really good, and it even plays well into the Gangplank. It denies so much of the long-range AoE from Taco Gaming, and in terms of CC, there really isn't that much on their side, but you need to be careful of Rovex getting unlocked and looking to roam, because when linked up with City Witty's Kha'Zix, you absolutely have to be careful.
Yeah, this is a Kha'Zix ready to taste their fear. If I could be blunt with it, it's you know, you talked about throwing it down the gauntlet. I mean, this is as gauntlet as it gets. There's literally a circle on the ground to scrap it out. What are we doing here? This is crazy. Oh my gosh.
Busts out the R5 Vlad into Eclipse's Gangplank. This is super interesting. Okay, this game just got very, very interesting. Taco Gaming locks in Syndra Kha'Zix, an extremely threatening mid-jungle 2v2, especially into the likes of the Kindred, who needs to get stacks to be able to have impact. Now, Blaze's LeBlanc will be very impactful, but Blaze is not the most lane dominant mid laner out there. In fact, I think he is on the weaker side of laning mids in at least the top 16 here for this Proving Grounds Open qualifier. So we'll have to see if Blaze is able to get a handle on the matchup. Otherwise, I could see this being a huge point of attack for Taco Gaming, and it cannot be understated. Getting Rovex involved as well will be critical. But on the other side, Dragoon has locked in a massive carry. The amount of income that Fear needs to function is huge.
Honestly, it kind of feels similar on both sides. Everybody but the supports here just loving gold, loving those kills. And with how much AP is on the side of Fear, you know, with the Vladimir, with the LeBlanc, there's quite a bit of AP still in the Kai'Sa kit no matter what. You do hope that it's Kai'Sa or Kindred that at least picks up some of those kills. Whereas on the other side, like, Kha'Zix and Gangplank would have no problem building a Mob Malmortius if it's, let's say, the LeBlanc Blaze piloting that ends up with the only one who has gold on the enemy team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's so much threat between these two teams. I mean, there are 8 carries on the map. There's no other way to square it. And it feels like almost, I was talking about how Cincinnati Fear would want to leave Sketch on an island and get Plux involved on the top side. And while I think that is still the case, Taco Gaming, they've absolutely locked in a composition that wants to do that. Leave Gorica alone and try to snowball your Kha'Zix, try to snowball your Syndra, because if one of those two champions gets ahead, there's not really a whole lot to deal with them.
It's going to be so good. The vision control is going to matter a lot. Whichever of these teams has control over those objectives, has like darkness on the map for the enemy team to have to face check into, they're the ones who are going to have an obvious advantage. LeBlanc is going to eat teams up like that whenever they can do that. And on the other side, Syndra controls space better than most any other champions in the game. So as well as the Gangplank too, right? So I'm looking forward to valuing tempo a lot, looking to make sure that you're on the map when the enemy team isn't, and get that space to win this game.
Yeah, well, speaking of being on the map, we have loaded in. It's another 5-stack in the early game on the red side. Taco Gaming on the blue, Cincinnati Fear opposite them, as Plux already just looking for a hook. The early aggression comes out. But I do have one thing to mention, and it is that Taco Gaming, they control zones incredibly well, but there are no markers for this Vladimir, for this Kai'Sa, for this LeBlanc in the later stages of the game. The hard CC is entirely limited to this Leona and the Scatter the Weak, so that will be something to keep in mind. Look for any creative engage angles that Fear is able to find.
Yeah, really curious. I thought for sure Plux was going to look to trade flashes with Ayakura, giving Blaze a little more opportunity to be dominant in the lane as they fish out this ward, but maybe valuing something a little bottom lane. It could be a teaser into the fact that Can't Offroll might be looking towards that bot side.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it is not going to be any sort of shenanigans here from the Kindred. She will just clear off the ward on the red and then start topside. So match clear coming through from City Witty and Trickster. That means they will be meeting head-to-head. They're on a collision course to the bottom side of the map, where these two engaged supports could definitely make fireworks happen. And look at that. Gorica on Ezreal in the first game, absolutely smashing the opposition. That is a 20 KDA.
And this ward should spot, Trickster on the Kindred, picking up the Raptors. This is going to mean that both champions are likely going to at least 5 camp on the side of Kha'Zix, maybe 6 if they don't find any opportunities in mid or bot.
And this just signals to me that Trickster knows, or at least is suspecting, that he is on a match clear and wants to get onto the bottom side faster. Get priority in the river around your Kai'Sa Nautilus. That way you can deny any potential crab from City Witty. Meanwhile, City Witty just going for the full clear, so everything will be pretty chill at the end of the day, as it is Sketch and Plux getting a minor minion advantage on the bottom side, but Gorica wants to change that.
Yeah, I want to mention Ayakura with some fast fingers keeping the LeBlanc at bay, but now junglers getting to their second buffs. Kindred actually just taking Gromp, not even taking blue buff, looking for a really early look onto Gorica and Rovex. Pluck stepping forward. The engage is going to come through. Rovex still has the flash and does use it. The Nautilus hook lands as Gorica is now the focus.
Wait a minute,
not
Plucks.
enough damage. The focus fire wasn't there, and they trade it back in the 2v3.
And Gorica and Rovex, what a beautiful turnaround. It was a good idea from Cincinnati Fear, but now Trickster is actually in a really bad spot and is clear. He's getting jumped on.
Yeah, Citywitty gets the slow, but it's not a big slow yet.
Oh,
the spikes are not evolved. The wave is pushing away, though, crucially, as you just saw.
But Kindred likely has to back, or at least cannot 1v1 City under any circumstances here. But no, Citywitty actually going to abandon the crab so that he can help out his mid laner, Ayakura, getting taken down by Blaze, or at least very low in this one-on-one. So just helping to push it out. Good jungling there from Citywitty, not being selfish, as everybody wants to party.
Yeah, this is exactly what you talked about earlier. Isolation of the AD carries in the bottom lane. The support's only level 2 already roaming up to mid.
Yeah, I will say it's huge that Trickster is going to be able to get his blue buff. With how low he was taken, I really thought he'd be forced to back and then zone completely out of his bottom side jungle. So it is still a small win for Cincinnati Fear. Fortunately for them as well, it was Rovex's Ignite that secured the first blood. So it's not the end of the world, because considering the summoner spell advantage for a kill on Leona, it's actually fine what ended up happening down there, ironically, even though a kill was traded back. But obviously they were hoping that play would go better.
Yep, and Rovex Hex flashing over the wall rather than walking through the brush does miss the control ward that Trickster is able to pick up a little more vision score. As they're threatening a dive here, Plux is going to start with the aggro here. Actually, no, it's Trickster that picks it up, but they're at range. They're able to drop it pretty quickly as Plux picks up the rest and barely survives the backcaster minion.
Super clean dive on the bottom side, though. Taco Gaming, Cincinnati Fear is the ones that make the play. Taco Gaming, their bottom lane gets taken down as... I mean, it was just super clean. They walk in, they dive Gorica, and they're going to deny the way from the Ezreal. A clear bottom side focus so far from the side of Cincinnati Fear, and they're just content to leave Dragoon on the island, ironically, as well as Blaze, but Blaze performing very well in the one-on-one.
Yeah, I mean, that dive had me hitting another octave with Plux barely surviving. It was 22 HP on it, but... more movement here from Plux, the aforementioned survivor, looking at the mid lane, potentially top lane if they want to, but just movement all over the map.
Yeah, it is traded back by Citywitty for a lot of control on the top side river, and while obviously that dive will be more influential, we'll see if Taco Gaming's able to translate that into any sort of advantage. It's a little awkward, though, because Citywitty is still clearing towards his bottom side of the map, so it seems like both teams still want to prioritize that end of the rift, as Blaze just going to stack up a wave, looking for a play.
Yeah, the root does land, and the damage is going to be big. One more auto attack, it's going to secure it. Trickster picks up their second kill, of the game. The ganks are potent.
And that was so nicely played by Trickster right there. The jungle focus starting to come on from Cincinnati Fear. Now they want to translate it into a bot dive. Gorica, still no sums. Wave getting stacked up for a crash. This is very dangerous. Citywitty running down as fast as he can. Same with Rovex. They're not going to get there.
This is a LeBlanc that doesn't have ultimate yet. Trickster's going to be able to jump in. The jump comes through. Can't off roll is going to pick up a third here. Trickster online. This Kindred is going to be massive. I talked about how important it was, and it is.
Super intelligent pathing from the Cincinnati Fear. They make a play happen in mid, and Trickster has the beautiful dodge on the Scattered Weak to pick up the kill. Then they use that priority to roam down bot, and it doesn't matter how telegraphed that dive was. Taco Gaming knew it was coming, but they couldn't do a thing about it because Citywitty and Rovex weren't on that side of the map, and it's all of a sudden a 1,000 gold lead for Cincinnati Fear at just 7 minutes.
Yeah. We're getting a little action in the top lane. We've got caster minions hitting melee minions, and vice versa. The cannon's going crazy. I wish I could say more about it, but really that's all that's happening in the top lane. With GP at level 6, though, we might have some influence, but honestly, if it doesn't involve Trickster on this Kindred, I don't think anything's happening.
Definitely. I mean, Trickster is the man with all of the gold. 3-0-0 in this game. Ayakura looking for another aggressive trade. Excuse me, Blaze. Ayakura still level 5. Just not where you want to be at nearly 8 minutes in the mid lane. She just now ticks over.
Yeah, and the CS lead everywhere right now, at least for the bottom and mid lane. You know, LeBlanc up 10 CS. Skitty Witty actually getting aggressive here. Likes the advantage. Kindred's going to smite to get a little more health. Has the ultimate and is going to look to maybe trade this back if you time it well. The Q comes through. Taste the fear, but not enough. Cincinnati is comfortable there. Reminding me that, in fact, Eclipse has the damage. There is the action I was looking for with the flash forward secure. And we've got more in the bottom lane. Flux and Sketch stepping forward, and Gorka doing the same. They're flashing now for it's a trade. Two sides of this fight, both supports setting on their own line of scrimmages as Sketch and Plux pick up the first kill. Rovex the next target, but not enough damage.
Sketch and Plux might pick one up on the backside, but it's the fight up top that goes Taco Gaming's way. A 600 gold shutdown picked up by Eclipse, and that is the danger of blind pick Kindred. City Witty finds him out, and just look at this. Trickster, you can't win this fight one-on-one, and it's not even his fault. It was just nice pathing from City Witty, the isolation damage doing too much. I like the flash to try to get towards mid, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And Ayakura as well, using the Unleashed Power, picks up a second one on a Blaze, meaning that she gets some much-needed gold in this lane. And in this 2v2, I mean, it really just comes down to Rovex is already so chunked out, they don't actually need to fear the Leona, and once the Arcane Shift is gone, Gorka has no way out.
Wow. Just the patience on Plux, waiting for every mobility spell out of this Ezreal to be used, and then search for the hook, lands it, and gets the kill.
Flips is very rich. That 600 gold shutdown paying dividends on the top side. Now 1-0-1. Very far ahead of Dragoon, nearly 1,000 gold, over 1,000 gold, I should say, ahead. Now, the bottom pressure will still translate into a Dragon for Cincinnati Fear. I still believe they're ahead in this game. They're up about 300 gold, but the pressure really from their bottom lane will be huge. Meanwhile, a lot of that gold is sort of stuck on the top lane island right now for Taka, but come team fight time, this GP could be very impactful.
Yes, and it's all about that tempo now. We've got supports, or at least Plux backing here, and City Witty having the Herald in their pocket, hovering in the bottom lane. If there was any overstep by Sketch or Plux, then they were going to capitalize on a kill and potentially more plates after that. Instead, opting to back and use this Herald for pressure on drag, or sorry, they won't even have an opportunity. Maybe make a play in a proactive state.
Maybe Blaze flashing in.
Yeah, this is Blaze stepping forward, and Trickster, another presence here, is going to be able to pick up a kill, but the trade by City Witty under the turret equalizes this. Herald, once again, still on the map. It's just whether they want to use it now or later.
Excellent counter comes through from City Witty. The aggression is unrelenting from Trickster. This time, flashing from Blaze to secure the tether. Ayakura, no scout of the week, dropped.
Blaze, you're stepping too far forward. This is City Witty on a Kha'Zix who is ready to rip you to shreds.
It's Battle of the Junglers in game 2. City Witty gets another one. Double kill for the Ka. Extended double kill at that. That is huge. Now Plux level 5.
Yeah, it felt like a wet noodle fight from Season 5, but it's the 80 carries that are turning that tide. GP Ultimate comes down, doesn't pick up an assist, though, as Rovex is going to get ulted on by Sketch into the waiting arms of who else but City Witty on the Kha'Zix.
What an insane fight on the bottom side. This time around, it is the bottom lane of Cincinnati Fear. They go just a little too far forward, and although they trade one back onto Rovex, it is the 2-for-1. Action unrelenting as Blaze steps forward, but does not find anything. At the end of it all, it's a 700 gold lead for Taco Gaming, 7-6 in favor of them for the kills. Herald still in the pocket of City Witty, will expire soon. Maybe looking to summon it mid.
It's gonna have to drop mid lane, but if they die here, it's gonna fizzle, right? Trickster doing whatever they can, but you just set your own grave on the ground before it even happens. This tower gonna get beaten on as Ayakura drops the ultimate and the ignite. Blaze is gonna be set ablaze here, but doesn't go down. Still 400 health, not enough, I would say, to defend this turret at least from 2, maybe 3 plates.
No, the Unleashed Power might not have been enough to get the kill, but it's just about making so Blaze can't step up anymore. And, you know, Trickster may have started off really well, but City Witty is coming online with his Ka. It's just so impossible to go anywhere alone if you're this Kindred. Every time Trickster wants to make a play, if City Witty's there, he just has more damage. And now with 3 deaths in a row, not only is Trickster not getting ahead anymore, actually starting to fall just a little bit behind.
Yeah, this is interesting. Dragoon, even though they haven't been a part of any kills, kind of bullying Eclipse out of this lane, still has the ultimate and the Ignite available, which would keep any of the healing that would come from Gangplank's oranges at least to be cut in half. And Trickster recognizing some of that power themselves, looking to maybe lane gank here, but there is a control word to spot him.
Really great ward on that side. Eclipse knows to be careful. We'll say Dragoon doing very well in this lane despite the 600 gold shutdown that Eclipse was able to pick up earlier. So having a strong Vladimir definitely will be relevant later on in the team fights, but as it stands, Cincinnati Fear really feels like they're in a difficult spot in this game where the jungle matchup's just not quite going their way thanks to the incredible plays of City Witty, and a composition that wants to make plays around this Kindred LeBlanc is sort of struggling to get off the ground.
I mean, get off the ground, yes. There is still so much time, though, in this game. So many opportunities. We only have 1 dragon off the table, the second one coming up in 40 seconds. So you know that tension is high, knowing that if anybody misplays even a little bit, given the execution, you mentioned it before in the draft, 4 carries on either team, really no room for error.
Absolutely not, and that means that these assassins can go even crazier. This LeBlanc, this Kha'Zix, there's nobody to soak up their damage. It also means that when the AoE comes through, it will be devastating. Now, that was a huge interrupt on a Blaze. They're going to lose mid-tier 1 for it. Really nicely done by Ayakura.
Jump forward, the aggression's there. Leona stuns the clone, though the Ignite goes down on the right target, but Flash, Unleashed Power, Ayakura picks up the kill onto Blaze and the turret.
And Ayakura just manages to find it. She throws all of the spheres right at the enemy mid. I was worried that Rovex might go down thanks to the root, but Leona doesn't care about towers. She's got the Shield of Daybreak. She's following the summer theme just right. I'm going to forgive the fact, Rovex, that you're not using the pool party skin, but it is another fight.
Okay, both ultimates don't quite land, but Plux likes the re-engage here. City Witty's going to be the recipient of the ultimate, but it's Rovex that picks up the death. Trickster, of course, being the recipient of that golden Sketch is really bold there. Ulting forward, flashing out, but it doesn't matter. Gorica lands the skill shots and gets paid themselves.
Oh, Gorica, the flash Q right there. Fine Sketch on the backside. Definitely a little over-eager from the AD carry of Cincinnati Fear, I think it's fair to say. But is Cincinnati Fear at least picking up another one? One more for the Kindred, but he's under threat.
Ooh, City Witty, we've seen this before. Trickster does survive, though. It's a miscalculation. The smite to secure it.
Wow, and City Witty on Kha'Zix so far this year, a 9.75 KDA, 100% win rate, 5-0 on this champion, and man, you can see why. He saw a Ka angle and he took it. I was talking about how this Taco Gaming doesn't really have any markers for the LeBlanc and the Kindred and the Vladimir. Well, Cincinnati Fear, outside of this Nautilus, they don't really have any either. The depth charge is really your only reprieve from the onslaught outside of the invulnerability of the Lamb's Respite, but that's, you know, a little bit more two-sided.
Yeah, I'm just thankful for a moment of pause. We get a chance to recollect, honestly, on this game, get a moment to look forward into what the objectives could be. Still 3 minutes on any major thing, but it's going to be vying for this vision, looking for pockets where the enemy won't find you and get more of those catches like they've done so far.
Definitely picks will be the name of the game. I mean, you have to try to avoid City Witty at all costs, or at the very least, zone him out of the fight. In that Dragon fight, the reason why it went well for Cincinnati Fear is because Plux threw down that depth charge onto the Ka, zoning City Witty, making it so that he couldn't go in. Definitely need more of that. I think Plux has been playing a nice game on the Nautilus. Maybe only be 1, 2, and 2, but a lot of the hooks have been there, and the positioning's been good for the most part. And again, it cannot be understated. Dragoon and Eclipse, they are playing Farming Simulator. Once they get involved in this game, it'll be a different story.
That's for sure. And it's just a matter of how they get involved into this game. The catch being the only engage here from Leona, Nautilus, perhaps Syndra on some Scatter of the Week, but the follow-up being the main name of this game. Flux and Trickster now focusing here. We're going to get our first action with both top laners here. It's going to be Eclipse that's the focus. The Oranges are going to get them out, except that Kindred with the stacks, with the extended range, is able to pick up another kill. These junglers are insane.
Yeah, they find one on the bottom side, but that is so much committed. 3 flashes as well, excuse me, only 2 flashes as well as all of the meaningful ultimates on that side, and it's going to be traded back for a tier 2 tower. So Taco Gaming, I don't think they feel too bad about that one. Trickster, though, does manage to pick up at least another kill. Glacial Shroud in inventory, trying to build armor because of how threatening this Kha'Zix is. If that's not a testament to how this game is going, I don't know what it is.
Crazy. This would be the first time ever that I've seen a Kindred building Frozen Heart on the Rift. So, I mean, we've got the Erlenmeyer flasks, we've got the beakers, we're doing some science experiments, and if Cincinnati Fear has anything to say about it, it will not blow up in their face, at least.
They're doing everything in their power to keep this Kha'Zix down, and I do think it makes sense. I feel like with the way this game has been going, if Cincinnati Fear, they're able to get into a more extended fight with their Kindred, with their everyone really extended fights so well. If they're able to do that, it becomes so meaningful. You've just got to survive the onslaught that this Kha'Zix and this Syndra can put out. Now, that's definitely a tall order with how few defensive tools Cincinnati Fear have available to them. But it is a task.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dragoon's got lifesteal. Yes, Kindred is going to have, you know, the ultimate to keep them a little bit safe. But you're right. I mean, the health pools are not going to be that big, Dragoon aside. So, you know, for volatility, going back to back in our games like this, yeah, we picked a good couple of matches here, Hawk.
And Taco Gaming, they are just destroying these towers right now. They take mid tier 2, they're going to take bot tier 1. We saw them take top tier 1 earlier, and Cincinnati Fear hardly getting anything for it. It's resulted in the 6,000 gold lead just thanks to the structures that have dropped.
Yeah. 5 turrets to 1, maybe 6 here pretty soon if Eclipse is able to poke Dragoon out, but there's a little bit of a pincer going on. Ayakura on the backside, able to land some poke, but now Cincinnati Fear rallying the troops, getting down to that bottom side. Yes, they get the turret on the top side, but Blaze only with the teleport to get there means that this dragon is Taco Gaming's, and it's 2-1.
And it is only a Cloud Soul, so it's not the most influential soul, but if you're looking to rotate around the map, make the map dark even faster, Cloud Rift and Cloud Soul is absolutely something that can do it. Cincinnati Fear, their composition right now really struggling to come online. Sketch only on 2 items, and although Trickster picked up so many kills early, 2 levels behind City Witty is this Kindred. And I mean, that is a testament. City Witty tied for the highest level in the game with all of the solo laners. That is absurd.
I mean, we're looking at a potential Flame Horizon by the end of this game if City Witty can keep this up. I don't see it ending anytime soon, so only 40 more CS is the differential. Yes, Sketch and Dragoon are picking up some of the camps in the side lanes, but because of all of these turrets taken, it's actually Taco Gaming with all of the agency into this jungle and getting all of this vision down to keep this Kindred from getting too fed.
And it becomes so difficult to play the game if you're Cincinnati Fear because your composition so heavily relies on finding isolated picks. Like, yes, you have AoE damage in your composition with the Vladimir, for example, but that's not how your composition wants to operate. You need to one-shot someone at the beginning, but they can't. Now they're going in, but Baron's been started.
Yeah, it's just a 3v3 right now as we've got the the top lane in the jungle in the Dragon Pit. Dragoon shows up a little late as the Kindred ult comes down, but you die first. Dragoon picks up their first kill of the match as City Witty is destroying this backline. All that is left is Blaze, and you are not going to light a fire under this team. Taco Gaming with the mid, jungle, and top laners still alive, looking for even more with Blaze now. City Witty never at any risk of dying. Do they pick up the kill? They don't. Now it's just turning back onto the Baron. Eclipse is TP'd in. This is a swing.
What a swing indeed. Taco Gaming, they just pull the trigger. They say, we've had enough of this game. The Baron's on the map, and we're going to start it. It is Cincinnati Fear that starts off the fight, but look at the damage that comes through from Ayakura and Gorica onto the front line right there. It means that Plux and Trickster just gets absolutely destroyed, and City Witty cleaning up on the backside. There was no hope in hell for Cincinnati Fear from the onset. They're just too far behind, and Taco Gaming, off of the back of a jungle masterclass, is in firm control of this game.
Yeah, Ayakura with such incredible play there. She scatters the weak to kind of thwart the initial engage. Plux going in first, and it's the missed timings. Blaze wasn't there at the beginning, and if they can continue to keep Cincinnati Fear off beat, keep them out of sync, then they're going to continue to win these fights. If you're Cincinnati Fear, though, you almost have to sack some of this gold in the side lane if you want to make sure that you're all together on the same page, ready to fight this Taco Gaming that is just so synergistic.
And I love that you mentioned Ayakura right there, because it has definitely been a quieter game for her on the Syndra, but the Scatter the Weeks, as you've said, have been sublime. They've not necessarily found super clutch stuns, but they've interrupted so many engages, from LeBlanc's distortioning forward to Nautilus hooks to anything in between. And so she's really done such a great job facilitating her team in the fights. Has she been the big carry? No, but it has most certainly been influential. And Dragoon, you can't even play the split push game because Gangplank does it for free.
It's so oppressive, and both of these turrets going to be under siege. It's the bottom lane that's going to go first, given just the sheer turret-taking ability of those champions, and they're actually going to throw the mid altogether. The bottom lane inhibitor being a very valuable resource, given that Baron is coming up in a minute.
City Witty does get locked up.
Yep, engage comes through. Plux is going to be there, but you go down immediately. It's City Witty and Gorica pumping out the damage, and the rest of Cincinnati Fear just has to back off. All your base belong to Taco Gaming and your jungler as well. Dragoon being the next target. This inhibitor goes down. We might have a game in less than 27 minutes now.
They just can't fight. City Witty's way too strong. He can kill everybody, and much less the other 4 people on his team. Second Nexus turret goes down.
Yeah, only 3 left, and they're going to be looking for the champions now. It's Eclipse picking up the double kill. It's Blaze once again being the only member left alive as Cincinnati Fear drop to Taco Gaming, and it wasn't even Tuesday.
Wow, what a game. The number 6 seed gets taken down in convincing fashion by Taco Gaming. I know some analysts were pretty hype about this roster with their wealth of Academy experience throughout all of their members, but I was not expecting them to come online like this. The early game was good for Cincinnati Fear. We saw the jungle focus that we were expecting in the pregame with the with the Kindred from Trickster, but it just didn't work out. That man on your screen right now, the Taco Thanos bug, absolutely crushed this Cincinnati Fear lineup.
Yeah. Easily crunchy tacos here, given how how quickly the enemy team just folded under their pressure. It was a masterclass on that champion, from the timings in which the counter ganks occurred, the knowledge of a lot of the just damage thresholds. I mean, we saw Kha'Zix jumping forward in so many of those fights, and like me, I was just like, oh wow, that's a pretty bold play, and down they go. I understood, known, the reality stone of that Thanos bug was there for Kha'Zix, and I mean, such a great performance.
Yeah, it truly was. And what a day of games that we got to see. The first game, CLG Faith and Super Sunshine Fruit Basket Warriors going toe-to-toe. And I think we got 2 upsets today, Reed. Both of the higher seeds ended up taking down their opponents. It is Taco Gaming that sits at 2-0. Congratulations to them. What an incredible look.
But it's not over yet. You do not get top 16 unless you have 3 wins under your belt. So everybody's still in it for this tournament. Taco Gaming, though, a lot of momentum after that game. You have to feel like they have a lot of confidence heading into their marquee day tomorrow.
Yeah, Taco Gaming, they're looking for that 5-0. They won't stop at just a 4-1 this time. And it is important that you said that nobody is out yet. Of course, only 2 games were played today. 3 more will be played tomorrow. You need 3 losses to be eliminated, which means even the O2 teams, they can make a miracle run. But of course, getting as many wins as you can today is important. And oh, real quick, as production, any clutch games, any crazy matches in this round 2 that we can talk about real quick before we send it off?
Yeah, I mean,
nothing at the moment. All right.
A pretty quick game 2 for us, honestly. I know that the other games are starting to wrap up now, but just let's talk about the games that we saw, at least today. CLG Faith, I mean, both upsets, you already mentioned it, but CLG Faith. Oh, okay, just got word. Thank you, Hyper. DK Crew beat CLG Faith, dropping both of their day. They destroyed him.
Wow.
Hyper is really excited. But yeah, this is a 32 seed. The last team to make it into this tournament, seated below everybody else, upsetting, CLG Faith, who, like I said, dropped both games today.
Yeah, wow, that was definitely not what we were expecting coming into the day. I mean, I said that this team would be one that sort of scales towards the later portions, but going out to definitely not the start that they want. But, you know, looking through the match histories as well, maybe the York Lion fans, the bandwagoners that want the group stage appearance that we got last time, they did upset Zenigma Eclipse. That's a mouthful as well. So a few upsets flying across in this second round, but lots of excitement throughout the day, I think it's safe to say, Reed.
All right. Well, I want to, first of all, thank our sponsors here. We have Atlantic, HyperX, and BenQ Zowie. But, man, this has been an incredible day 1 full of upsets. It's a dream come true for me, but it's only the beginning. And we'll be right back here tomorrow. The conclusion of our qualifiers. Thank you, Hawk, Unified, and everyone here on production for an incredible broadcast. I'm Reading Right. Be kind. Be safe. Have an immaculate evening.